Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgie Man, and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about MASHLE, Magic and Muscles Season 2, Episode 5. So, what do you think about this week's episode? In all honesty, I absolutely love this week's episode, and one of the main reasons why is because this week's episode really showcased pretty much Finn's whole character as a whole, and I think that it did a great job at emphasizing how much of a loyal friend he is, as well as how kind-hearted, and he is a person that is very, like, he might be the weakest one in the group, but he makes up that weakness by his loyalty and his determination, and just how much he's willing to put himself out there for his friends. And I think that was really very important to showcase Finn, and I really like his character now going forward, because we all assume that he was just that quiet, stereotypical weak kind of character in these kind of shows, these shonens and stuff. But I like how in this week's episode they showcase, like, no, there's much more to his character as a whole, and I really like that. Now, before I go any further with this week's episode, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my anime and manga, as well as all my martial magic and muscles, the content that I'll be providing this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you guys could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into this week's episode. So this week's episode starts off where we left off, where pretty much Finn is screwed. He's by himself, and he, the tournament started, and he's just trying to not to, be killed. In other words, he's trying to, mind his business, but eventually he stumbles upon Liu Yang, which is the guy with the red hair, the guy that, he beat up Marshall's Mash, his senpai last week's episode. And this guy, like, right off the bat, he wants smoke. He's telling Finn, like, what are you doing? Like, and Finn is scared for, my man is frightened. I mean, he's hoping to survive this encounter, and I don't blame him. I mean, plus everything relies on him. He's the only one that can protect this crystal. And this guy just pretty much tells, like, Finn, like, hey, if you try to do some funny business with me, I'm just gonna demolish you. And like, hand over the crystal, like, let me, and you won't get beat up like this other guy, because we see that the Liu Yang, he had beaten up one of the yellow team members and taken his crystal. So now it's like, oh no, Finn is screwed. But Finn, he's like, okay, I'm not gonna go out without a fight. And he tries to run away, because he fools him by faking him out, because he thought he was gonna use a magic trick, like magic spell, but it wasn't nothing. And he starts running. He does a Joseph Joestar technique, but he pretty much runs away. Eventually, we see Finn's ability in his magic, and his magic is, I guess, swapping places. So if you've seen Jujutsu Kaisen, it seems like it's something along the lines like Toto, where you can swap places with somebody. So it was nice for him to finally showcase his magic, because up to this point we didn't know what his actual magic power was. So it was really cool seeing his spell, and he pretty much gets some distance, he gets away, but it's not good enough, because we find out that Liu Yang's ability is to pretty much inflict damage to another person, similar to like a voodoo doll, but he has to, like, hurt himself, but all the damage that he would take gets transferred to the other person. So yeah, just like a voodoo doll. And pretty much, yeah, Finn is, like, screwed right from the get-go. Like, he's running away, he gets, you see him all bloody, and he eventually tells him, like, hey man, hand over the crystal or I'm gonna kill you. Like, why didn't you just hand it over? And while he's thinking about all of that, he's thinking about, like, man, like, why like he starts thinking about Mash and, like, his friends, and he starts thinking, like, me, like, I can sell them out. Like, Mash's entire fate is relying on me. Like, I have to make sure I survive this exam, so Mash can succeed in his future. And I like that. I like how he had that conviction, and he was very, like, self-devoted to protecting Mash, and that's a real friend right there, guys. I really appreciate how Finn is, best boy. Like, if you've seen the title of the video, he's best boy after this week's episode, okay? Not even a competition. He's my homie. We all must protect Finn. That's it. That's all I'm saying. But pretty much what happens is, earlier in the episode, we also stated that there was, like, these ancient wands, and Liu Yang has one of them. And his wand is one of the eldest wands, one of the 13. And his wand, pretty much, like I said, it's like a voodoo doll, reflects damage to another person. And it's pretty broken, like, right off the get-go. And while he's about to, like, kill Finn, because he's like, okay, I'm gonna kill you, bro. Like, he puts the knife through his throat. Who stops him in the nick of time? Mash. Mash shows up and slams his head on the wall. Great. It was, it was very cool. I love seeing Mash just, like, pop out, be badass. And this was a great moment, a great entrance for him to show up, at the very best timing. But it seems futile because he hurts himself, because like I said, his ability is reflecting the damage to the person that inflicts it upon. And at this point it was Mash, the one that was hurting him. So it really hurt. Like, pretty much this is a perfect counter against Mash, because Mash has no magic, and it seems that, you know, on paper this is the worst like matchup for Mash, because as you see, Mash is punching him and doing all this like combos and stuff, but it's not doing anything. If anything, he's harming himself. Plus, you know, Liu Yang is harming himself as well. So, you know, it's a double damage towards Mash. You know, it's the ones that, you know, Liu Yang is inflicted upon himself, as well as the attacks that Mash is doing, and it's looking very, very bad. And it comes to the point where, you know, Mash gets pissed off. It's like, because Liu Yang was like, you know, well, he's so weak, like, why didn't you run away? And he's calling like Finn trash, and he even compares him to like, you know, Rain, his brother, and he's like, you know, your brother was always like the S tier magic caster, and you were always the guy that could barely get by. Like, what a disappointment. And you see pretty much Mash is like, hey, I don't know about you, but it takes somebody with real courage to step up and still try to fight somebody as strong as they know they're stronger than themselves. So he's pretty much saying like, Finn, you stood up your ground, your business, you never, never kneeled, you never sold us out, and that takes much more courage and stuff. And I like how Mash is like, he gets pissed off. Like, he's like, you laughing at somebody like that, it's unacceptable. And you see Mash just get serious, and it's about to start the fight. And Mash is doing these combos, but nothing's really happening. But eventually, you know, Mash is doing these consecutive hits, and you see the, you know, the statue that's like the wand and all that, the statue behind like the wand and the power and all that, you see it start crumbling. And you know, Liu Yang is like tripping. He's like, what? No way. And you see like pretty much he eventually awakens like the real appearance, it seems like, of this statue and the wand and all that. And you see that, you know, this is more defensive, where starts throwing like these needles at Mash, and he's avoiding them. Eventually Mash pulls out his own wand, and he forges a tennis racket. Yeah, like my man has sculpting. He's very good at sculpting, I guess. He makes his wand into a tennis racket, and then he proceeds to start hitting the statue with like a ball, I guess. And he starts just hitting it, which is very, very smart, because who's inflicting the damage? A tennis ball. So it's not being deflected back to Mash. So this works out for him, because it's, you know, these consecutive hits to this statue eventually starts making it so like it starts crumbling more and more and more, to the point where it turns into just dust everywhere. And, you know, like once the statue gets destroyed after consecutive like hits of this tennis racket, the guy, you know, Mash is like, hey, so you were asking about like how real pain feels like, because you never felt pain because of this, because you were chosen by this one. Let me help you with that. And you just see Mash pull up the tennis racket and hits him in the head, and my man gets knocked out. Like, he's out cold. And throughout it all, you see this guy start realizing like, oh, so this is what pain felt like? Well, like, why didn't this guy run away then? If I was, you know, inflicting so much pain to him, like, why didn't he just run away? Like, what's crazy? Like, what's so special about this guy? And you see pretty much Mash is like, hey man, you did a great job. And even the guy Liu Yang starts realizing like, okay, I get it now. I get what, like, this guy is honorable. Like, he's like, okay, I finally felt pain. And this guy never, you know, he never gave up, even though I was inflicting this much pain. Like, it sucks. Pain sucks, you know. And how do we end the episode on? We ended with Mash lifting Finn up, and he's like, you did a good job, man. Like, let's take this home, bro. Like, let's both graduate. And it was very wholesome, man. Like, that made my heart grow like 5 sizes. Like, watching just Mash and Finn, like, you know, they're buddies, like, they're just how close of, you know, friends they are. It's really cute and very wholesome. That's one of the main things that I like about MASHLE. It's very wholesome, very, like, it just makes me heart, like, it makes my heart happy watching this show, you know. And I can't wait to see what the next week's episode ends, because, you know, Mash is with Finn now, so he's going to be protecting Finn, but he is harmed. So I'm very curious to see how that plays out in the future. But with all that being said, what did you guys think about this week's episode? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys thought it was alright? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more martial magic and muscles, as well as more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.